Last night was the debate, which means today is fact-checking day. Now, obviously, we don't have time. This is only a 2-hour show to check all the facts, but we've chosen a representative sample, and we're going to talk about them today here. The first, I think, is one of the most fun, and it has to do with Marco Rubio making his claim about philosophers and welders. He said, "For the life of me, I don't know why we have stigmatized vocational education. Welders make more money than philosophers. We need more welders and less philosophers." So 1 million people fact-checked this instantly. The median wage of welders is about $37,000, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The median wage for philosophy teachers is $63,000. The average first-year salary for a college graduate with a bachelor's degree in philosophy is $42,000. That's true, so it's only a little bit higher than a welder. But by the middle of their career, they're at $85,000. College professors of philosophy make $89,000, and the top 10% of them make $200,000, whereas the top 10% of welders make only $59,000. Now, that is not in any way to attack welders. Literally, my younger brother does welding, but you simply can't say that they make more money. And finally, if we could throw this up, the idea that we need more welders than philosophers. We have 40 times as many welders as philosophers. I think we're doing okay with the distribution.
So my first question to you, John, is what do you have against your brother? Like, why are you attacking him on the show?
I hate him. He's un-American. Weld and metal together. Those two different types of metal aren't supposed to go together. I don't support metallic miscegenation. Anyway, it was.
The fact that you even know what that is just shows how much of a dork you are, but we love it.
A little bit.
What's Rubio got against? This isn't his first pass at having a go at philosophers, I seem to recall. He's had
Bush did too at the debate. Philosopher Kings.
What is that? Yes. What is their problem with?
They think it's a libby academic thing. They're in their ivory tower.
I mean, last week Bush was having a go at the French, and or not last week, but last time the French. I guess French and philosophers are known for their philosophy and sort of existentialism.
They don't like intellectuals, okay? It turns them off because they're morons. Yeah. And so it's like, we're idiots and we don't like intellectuals. What can we do to put them down? That's exactly what we did. Yeah. But I did talk to Rubio and he did have a response to, the fact-checking that happened. He just wants everyone to know that he comes from an immigrant family from Cuba. His father was a bartender and they worked their way up in America so he could do what he's doing for his career.
That is a beautiful story.
That's it. That's his answer for everything. I don't give a fuck about your Cuban family coming to America. That's another thing, right? Like, they always mention that whenever it comes to the immigration debate. I know we're going off on a tangent. I'm sorry I'm playing the role of Ben Mankiewicz on the show today. Okay. Cuban immigrants do not have the same experiences as other immigrants because they have amnesty, okay? Yes. I know this. I've studied this. My fiance is Cuban. I have nothing against Cubans, but they have amnesty. They can come into this country with no papers, okay? As long as they don't break any crime or break any laws and they're not guilty of any crimes in 1 year, they get citizenship. Yeah. It's easy for them. So just because you have immigrant parents from Cuba doesn't mean that you have any authority to represent or speak to all the other immigrants who come here in an undocumented way, right? So Mexican immigrants have a very different experience. So I don't care about your family story. Please spare me the details.
Yeah. The philosophers, I mentioned this on the debate, but I love the random attack on philosophers. Like, that's who you're going to attack the liberals. You know who philosophers are? The founding fathers of this country.
How dare they?
Ayn Rand is a philosopher. The church is full of philosophers. They're not welding in the church and divinity school. They're philosophizing about metaphysics.
Well, the problem with our country is that it wasn't founded by a group of welders, and maybe a group of welders founded.
Well, they did have some vocational training. Benjamin Franklin, not one of the founders, but did have a lot of vocational training in a number of different fields. Okay, to jump to a few others. This is Jeb Bush. We have to recognize that small business right now, more of them are closing than are being set up. Several people said the same thing. Fiorina has said it. According to the latest figures from the Census Bureau in 2012 and 2013, more businesses opened their doors than closed. And we're talking about absolutely massive numbers, by the way. So Donald Trump, this is referring back to something that Anna mentioned earlier, said, talking about TPP, it is a deal that is going to lead to nothing but trouble. It's a deal that was designed for China to come in as they always do through the back door, I've seen the videos, and totally take advantage of everyone. Trump went on to say that China is guilty of currency manipulation by keeping the value of its currency low to make its exports more competitive. Well, unfortunately for them, China's currency, the yuan, has been rising in value for some time, and the IMF says it's now fairly valued. In any case, China isn't a signatory to the TPP.
And the TPP is singularly established to keep China and as a counterweight to China.
Yes.
So it's the obverse
for China.
Right, it's the obverse of what he was suggesting.
But you would have had to have at least read the wiki of it to know that. So I can understand why he did not. Carly Fiorina actually has one. She doesn't often make it into our fact checks. She mocked fellow GOP presidential candidate Donald Trump on Tuesday night for meeting Russian President Vladimir Putin in a green room before a show. She said, "I have met him as well, not in a green room for a show, but in a private meeting." Unfortunately, she's previously said, "I met him in Beijing. We were in sort of a green room setting, actually."
What is it? I've got to ask you guys, I've got to ask you before we close out, what is it with the Republican candidates and wanting to have a selfie moment with
Putin.
Vladimir Putin? What is
they
why
like
have they
dictators.
Why are they so excited to say, "No, I met him. No, I met him. I've looked him in the eyes. I know what he's thinking. I know what is it with that? As it speaks to their foreign policy credentials. The woman who laid off tens of thousands of people at Hewlett Packard, the man who put his name in gold letters across every building. It doesn't matter. I met Vladimir Putin in a green room once. We had a bagel together. He's
like Taylor Swift for old politicians. It's like, just let me get a picture. Come on.
What is it?
I remember when, Crimea was dominating the headlines. Some Republican candidates came out in favor of Putin's strength.
Yes.
And they kept comparing Obama's his perceived weakness to Putin's strength. And they like that dictator, mentality, which is funny because isn't this supposed to be the party that wants less government? Right?
Yeah, not a strong man.
Right.
Yeah, maybe they're just trying to get the Five's endorsement, because if you recall, we showed the video of the Five saying, I think it was Dana Perino specifically saying, "God, I wish that Putin could just run this country for a couple of days. He'd straighten things out, and then I'm sure he'd give up power willingly."